Ladies and gentlemen, KocoSports.com proudly presents Wrestle AM. It's half wrestling show, half morning show, pretty much all BS. And of course, you got the Coco crew here holding it down live. First of all, you got yours truly, the sexiest man on all Internet Wrestling Radio. That's right, boom, boom, here shaking the room live from the RVA, talking about Richmond, Virginia. And of course, joining me now is from sunny South Florida, the ravishing one, Rob Sackett. Good morning to you there, Rob.
What's up, buddy?
Well, not a whole heck of a lot. Well, it's Thursday. It's time for Thursday Night Smackdown, and, you know, since we're such awesome internet celebrities, you know, we've totally got a sneak preview of that, and we want to let everybody know if it's worth watching tonight. So we're going to tell you what we thought on it. So we're going to start off like we always do, this episode of Smackdown, win, loss, or tie. So, Rob, we're going to start off here with you. What did you watched it just as well as I did. Let's see. What did you think? Do you give the SmackDown a win, a loss, or a tie?
I actually do. Even sticking by my standards of not going off a skewed system of, well, for WWE this was a win. But even if I just fair standard rating system across the board, I would say this was a weak win.
Weak win? I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to give it a strong loss. You know, I didn't think it was completely a fucking train wreck, and from what I understand, like, if you're a regular purveyor of WWE wrestling, this really wasn't bad by their standards, but I have gratefully been out of the WWE loop for like the past month. I have not watched anything since the build-up to Fastlane because everything has just been horrible. And how do I know this? Because I go to KocoSports.com, I subscribe to us on YouTube, and I go check out your wrestling reviews that you do along with Dave, and that's what I listen to, and you describe what's going on in the shows, and I'm like, this makes no sense. It's not worth wasting 3 hours of my time. So with me having that, just being out of that bubble and watching WWE, I was just like, you know, this just doesn't really make any sense. It's like the guys are going out there, they're just kind of like handcuffed, and this is like supposed to be the build-up to the biggest pay-per-view of the year. It doesn't really make any sense, so I'm going to give it a loss. So, you know what? That's actually worked really well because, well, Rob and I watched the same show, and we're going to go to we came to two totally opposite conclusions. Let's see how we get there. All right.
I do want to say, okay, before I get just completely destroyed in the comment section, people going, Rob, what are you talking about? Win for a WWE product? It's a win for just the angles alone, and I felt like it's not even a win. Damn it, it's a tie. It's a tie. There were just a few good moments that made me skew it, and I was so beat down from Raw. You're right, though. It wasn't that good.
All right. We're going to start this thing off here. First, we started off with Daniel Bryan in the ring, talking about how, you know, he's won virtually every title you can win the WWE with the exception of one. That exception is the Intercontinental title. This brought out Bad News Barrett, who took exception to those comments, saying that he had some bad news, you know, if he thought he could take the Intercontinental title from him. This brought out Dolph Ziggler, which brought out Luke Harper, which brought out Dean Ambrose, which brought out Stardust. So you had all these 6 gentlemen in the ring kind of talking about this upcoming ladder match for WrestleMania 31, or excuse me, WrestleMania Play Button. And who was going to steal the show, who was going to walk out with the Intercontinental title, in which R-Truth came out on stage and said he was just, you know, he was carrying the Intercontinental title in a burlap sack, saying that he was just going to keep this warm for everybody, so when he wins it at WrestleMania, it's good. And, you know, since the law, excuse me, possession is 9/10 of the law. Forgive me for that one. You know, he's technically the Intercontinental Champion. This led to a little bit of a brawl in the ring, which set up the main event, which was going to be a 6-man tag. It would be Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, and Dean Ambrose teaming up to take on Bad News Barrett, Luke Harper, and Stardust. So right now, off the bat, Rob, watching this, were you hyped up about it? Did you like the way they kind of set it up for the main event? I know this is a SmackDown, and I know that's part of the problem is because writers treat it like, oh, it's just SmackDown. But for a SmackDown, did you think that was a good setup to kind of get us to to set up the main event for the evening?
It was okay. As far as WWE opening segments go, I thought it was actually really good. Like, there were some entertaining bits there with them in-ring performing, and I thought R-Truth's mic time was just great, but I'm also a little bit of an R-Truth mark, and I'll admit it. I was entertained by it. I liked this segment, and I felt like this was one of the high points of the week for WWE's primary programming.
All right. Me, I was not a huge fan of it because it was Daniel Bryan, him. I mean, it's like maybe they're going to do a match between him and Dolph Ziggler at WrestleMania Play Button, and maybe that's what they're trying to do. They're still trying to talk him into it. Now they've got 2 weeks from this Sunday to convince whoever that they need to convince to let this happen, and put the other guys in the multi-man ladder match for the Intercontinental title. So I guess maybe this is what they were trying to do, but I just don't like it. It's just everybody comes out there and, okay, I'm going to be the Intercontinental Champion. No, I'm going to be the Intercontinental Champion. Everybody's got a microphone. I mean, to me, it just kind of breaks the whole realism because, I mean, how many times can you stand across from a guy with nothing between you and he's like, oh, no, I'm better than all of you. I'm going to win there without clocking the motherfucker, without it leading to an all-out brawl. I don't know, it just seemed forced and I really didn't like it. But next, we had 8-man tag action. And this was another thing for SmackDown tonight. It was like multi-man mania. I mean, there were like tons of like multi-man.
Did they rehire Teddy Long?
Yeah, I know. I thought they got rid of Teddy Long. It
felt like Teddy Long was there.
So we had this match here. It was Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods representing the New Day, teaming up with the Usos, taking on Tyson Kidd and Cesaro with their tag team partners Los Matadores, who apparently turned heel because fuck it, why not, right?
Mm-hmm.
This, to me, was one of the better matches of the night. I think everybody got their turn in there, and I think the ending was actually pretty good. It's just something. If you're watching this, you pretty much know you're getting spoilers. So if you're getting pissed off because we're revealing the end to you now, you've only got yourself to blame. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you a 5 count, and if you don't cut this thing off now, it's your damn fault, okay, for getting pissed off. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, from this point on, it's your own fucking fault if you get pissed off about any spoilers here. Kid Cesaro and Los Matadores won. They teased a lot of dissension, guys really not want to tag the other guys, the other tag teams in. Mm-hmm. But it looked like the New Day was about to get the win because Fernando got hit with a Trouble in Paradise kick from Kofi Kingston. Well, during the distraction, Fernando got in and El Torito pulled out Diego, and so Fernando got in there, hit the back cracker, he was the illegal man, and rolled up Kofi Kingston with a handful of tights and got the win. I think the ending was pretty good. This is something I really wish Los Matadores
would have been doing. So you're a fan of Twin Magic?
Yeah, that's something that makes sense that they could do. I don't know if they're going to be any better than as heels as they were as faces. I think they'll get lost in the shuffle either way around. I think they'll be like the New Day. They'll be relevant for like a week or two, and then it's just going to be burial from there. Personally, I think Los Matadores could probably do a better job if they brought them down to NXT, because that tag division, really needs help, and the Colon cousins are really good wrestlers, and I think you could ditch the whole Los Matadores gimmick, have them come out, down there as just the Puerto Rican cousins, and just wrestle some of the guys down there and really help out that tag division. But then again, it's not up to people like me. But overall, I'd say it was a good match. I mean, a lot of tags, a lot of action. They were kind of setting it up because it was looking like it's going to be a 4-way for the tag team championships at Mania. So I like that they got everybody involved in with it. They made everybody look, somewhat good, and they had the good guys save face. But overall, it was kind of a train wreck, but I do think it was one of the better matches. So, Rob, what were your thoughts on it? Do you share kind of like the rose-colored glasses that I was wearing with this one?
It wasn't a great match. Like, it wasn't 5-star by any means. Like, it was good though. like by WWE standards, it was a pretty good match. You had a lot of guys who are pretty good in-ring workers that they have in that match, so I think we had to expect it to have some good spots. Like that spot where Kofi did the leap over him, over one of the Usos. I don't know which Uso. He leaped over the Uso straight into the splash, into the pin. That was an awesome spot, and that was a ton of athleticism. So they had a few spots like that. We had the usual, Cesaro uppercut snuck in there, which is good. And overall, it was a pretty entertaining match. More entertaining than I expected a 4-on-4 match to be.
Actually, yeah, that's what I would say. Just looking at it on paper, it looks like a train wreck, but when they actually got out there and did it, it was a lot more entertaining than what you would think it would be. Next they aired the whole teaser between, the build-up of the feud between John Cena and Rusev for the United States title. I know what they're trying to do with this is they're trying to keep John Cena relevant now that he's not competing for the WWE title. It's actually pretty, in my opinion, at least smart booking. You got to have the champ distracted with something else. The reason why he's not going back after the title immediately, you got to, so he saves face. But just for me, it's like John Cena. It's like he's been to the mountaintop like God knows how many times. I mean, he's almost tied Ric Flair's record for world title reigns. He's done just about everything you can do, and now all of a sudden he's going to be obsessed with the U.S. title. I know more so it's about defending the honor of the United States. So apparently they're kind of giving like little play like the Hulk Hogan Real American I'm a Patriot kind of gimmick or angle for this storyline. But just to me, it just seems like, okay, you win, so what? If you lose, you better hope Rusev just slits your throat because, I mean, dude, it's going to change your career. At least that's the way I'm seeing it.
Yeah, I disagree with you on why he's doing it for the title and everything. I do think that it's just a who cares at all thing as far as it is with us going into Mania. It's just like, oh, okay, that's cool. This is happening. Namely because at Raw he just completely destroyed the entire match's build, I feel like. But that said, I like him fighting for the U.S. title because it's not that he's distracted from the heavyweight title, it's that he flat out isn't allowed to have it. Like, he got his rematches, he lost his rematches, and he got shut out of the world title. Like, no more, you're done. You don't get a U.S. title shot anymore, or a world title shot anymore.
Right. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad that John Cena's not in the title mix for once, and I'm glad that he's down on the mid-card. I think that's where he can probably do his best. I mean, as Dave always said, give him a run with the U.S. title because, I mean, you think the little kids or his fans are really going to know, really going to tell the difference? No, they're just going to know that their hero comes out there. They're still going to cheer for him. He still has a belt, so therefore it means he's good. I think that's the best place for him right now.
Oh, I agree entirely. I think it's horrible because he's at a spot where this could actually be a really, really amazing character change for him to do that evolution down to accepting that he's not the athlete he used to be, sort of thing. But Monday, I think they showed that they are not going on that path.
John Cena's, 37, if that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a little bit older than me and you, but I wouldn't say he's past his prime. I wouldn't say he's going to hit that where he's going to hit his peak and start to decline. I don't think he's hit that yet. I mean, he's close,
no, I meant storyline-wise.
Hit that point.
No, I just meant storyline-wise, where he's having to question if he's no longer ready. Like, sort of a midlife crisis is how I view it.
Woo-hoo. Oh, God, please tell me I don't have to hit a midlife crisis at 37.
You might. Who knows? You might go crazy, go out there, buy a Lamborghini. Then,
if I bought a Lamborghini, I'd be doing other things.
A year later, you're going to be wearing sweatpants, having to get paid to get haircuts.
Yep, and wearing tiger mask. Inside jokes, only on WrestleMania. Thank you to the 4 people who just got that joke, and 2 of them are sitting in this chat room right now. All right, next, Ryback versus The Miz. Before the match, Miz told Damien Sandow to stay backstage. He didn't need him. Give him like this low-fat latte or whatever for when he wins. He went out there, and pretty much what you think happened. Miz got absolutely destroyed. He got squashed by a Ryback with the shell shock. As soon as the match was over, it cut back to a picture, it's not picture, video backstage of Sandow kind of chuckling to himself over this loss. I think they just did this really just to do this match. I think that this is maybe going to advance like a storyline between the Miz and Sandow, because if you don't have a match between these two at Mania, or at least coming out of Mania, if you don't set it up to where there's some kind of, like, I think they've completely mishandled this. This match should be happening at Mania, but it's not.
Yeah.
But I think they're kind of teasing like this rip for a future match, and I think that's the only reason why. One, they did it to kind of get Ryback in the show, have the kids cheer him, have him look dominant, and then further the storyline between Damien Sandow and Miz. So that's the way I'm seeing it. Rob, I'm going to go out on a limb here. You know what? First of all, tell me what you thought about this. I mean, do you think this kind of accomplished, or do you think this was just filler? I mean, what did you think?
I'm annoyed because I feel like they've taken way too long with this breakup. At this point, they should already be very openly against each other, and the match should already be booked for Mania at this point. Like, at this point, these guys should have already collided in some way or another. You know what I mean? I just feel like they're missing the opportunity for this match and are not realizing how into this breakup people were all year long, and now it just feels like it's gonna happen so late that no one's gonna care. And also, fuck the Miz for that whole bit during that promo, because for anyone who watches It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, he literally just did his entire promo as the character Dennis from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He talked in the same style. He had the same mannerisms. He even had the same inflections on words as him. He emphasized things similarly. It was frustrating that he was so uncreative. But I mean, what can I expect from a guy who started off ripping off The Rock's gimmick on Real World?
Yeah, I think they just really dropped the ball with this. I think if they wanted to have a feud, but have it end at Mania, I think they should have booked backwards. But here's the thing. They could have done the whole stunt double thing and then teased the riff. Instead of having Damien Sandow be the Miz's personal assistant, I think he should have quit. Just straight up should have quit. And they made and they would have got a little bit more momentum, and they could have settled everything at Mania.
Dude, it would have been awesome if they would have set up. They should have had him break up sometime around Fastlane, I would say. Like a little bit before, maybe even. But they should have had the actual tag team stop working together at that point, had him get demoted, quit. But they should have made Sandow decide and do a promo saying, you know what? I'm not going to stop being your stunt double. I'm going to just be better you than you are. And they should have had him they should have refilmed all of the Miz's entrance with the Mizdow doing all of the spots with all the same people, and had him come out as the Mizdow, still use the Miz clothing gimmick, the video on the Titantron and everything, and just have them war over the gimmick essentially all the way up to Mania, where they finally just had the blow-off fight.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next here, we had Roman Reigns come out to address particularly the comments that Paul Heyman made on Monday Night Raw. Talking about, you can't talk about my heritage, you can't talk about, where I come from. Mark Henry, who's returning, thank you God, comes back out, and he talks to Roman Reigns about how he needs to earn the respect of the fans, obviously addressing some of the boos in the crowd, and the other guys in the locker room. I guess that would be criticism that he's not ready. And then Reigns wound up laying out Henry. He hit him with the Superman punch and then speared him on the outside of the ring through a barricade, to which he got up on the table. Yeah, and I think there was a decent cheer for Reigns. I don't know if it's piped-in crowd music or Reigns is slowly starting to win the crowd over, or if that was editing. I'm not going to speculate here, but I think there were a few more cheers than they were at boos. The doctor started tending to Mark Henry, saying, yeah, you can't, they're trying to build him up. Do you think they actually accomplished that, Rob? Do you think that do you think Roman Reigns is actually slowly starting to win over the fans? Do you think WWE's listening and they're trying to, tweak his push so that way, he doesn't get booed out of the building come Mania? Or do you think it's just inevitable that he's getting booed out of the damn building at Mania?
I think I'll be impressed if he doesn't get booed out of the building at Mania. The rest of the card's going to have to be amazing and put people in really high spirits. And then on top of that, Brock and Heyman have to make the crowd hate him enough to like Roman Reigns, and that's a tough pill. What I think sucks about this, and you got to see like my reaction toward it as it went, because I messaged you while I was watching it, was I was actually pretty excited whenever they first initially had it going. Like about halfway into this promo, I thought it was great. I thought there was like this Mr. Miyagi thing sort of starting to happen. I was like, that's cool. They're making Roman into an actual character now. Mark Henry's doing some of his always phenomenal character work he has, because that dude can act. That dude can seriously show emotion and convey emotion really, really well. And I thought that this was going to be really, really cool, and that they were going to build to like them being sort of mentoring him through some sort of curve or obstacle so that he'd be ready to face Brock, and we'd get some sort of like Rocky montage toward that type thing over the next few weeks, which would have been awesome. And then immediately, LOL, Reigns wins, and he basically was a pouty teenager that fucking punched Mark Henry over trying to give him advice while stealing fucking Locke from Lost's new gimmick. That's his new thing now. Don't tell me what I can't do. Don't tell me what I can't do. Ugh. I hate Reigns now.
Well, but one thing I don't hate, and that's the internet infantry, because without you, there is no us. I want to give a big shout-outs to Bill Hosopple for liking us on Facebook. Much love. Rico on Facebook. This has got a great comment. He says, for the win-loss time, we need to do two standards, one for WWE and one for pro wrestling. Okay, for pro wrestling standards, this SmackDown's a loss, but for WWE, I'd say it's a strong tie. Okay. Okay, wrestling reviews. He retweeted our show. Thank you very much. Here's a good question. This is Tom from Facebook. He says, Coco said a while back NXT would be bad around Mania. Oh, no, excuse me. Coco said a while back NXT would be bad around Mania to protect Mania. Do you believe this has started? Well, to answer that question, Tom, we are going to review NXT, and we'll let you know what we're thinking on that one, but that's a very good question. And he also asked, do you think Reigns is being sabotaged so Cena gets more years on top? No. Trust me, I don't think he's being sabotaged.
I think there's nothing Vince wants more than this.
Trust me, we've seen people get sabotaged. I mean, look at Rey Mysterio. He begrudgingly got the World Heavyweight title. He exploited his friendship with Eddie Guerrero and got the belt, and then he lost with the exception of like a handful of like title defenses, he lost every single match. I mean, he looked horrible out there. So believe me, I've seen sabotaged title reigns. And the way WWE is right now, I think if they didn't want Reigns to the top, he would not be there. If they didn't want to take a chance with him, he would not be there.
If they didn't want him on top, he'd be in this ladder match.
Oh, absolutely. That's what he'd be doing. Let's see. Next, let's just skip over the promo for Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker. If you want to know what we thought about that, just listen to our Monday Night Raw review when that happened. Next, we had tag team action. We had Paige and AJ Lee versus Summer Rae and Cameron. The Bella Twins on take two on commentary. Really not much to this match. I mean, it was, remember hashtag Give Divas a Chance. How WWE always listens to their fans and how Stephanie McMahon agrees. I think this match went all of 3 minutes. So apparently they are improving. They went from 30 seconds to 3 minutes. So I think that's what a 5-time.
Yeah, but look at who they're giving a chance.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it's Cameron and Summer Rae. No, we meant the ones that could wrestle. Where's Naomi and Natty? Where's Tamina Snuka?
Well, basically, guys, what you think happened. Paige hit the PT, got Summer Rae wrapped up in the PTO for the win. Both the Paige and AJ both argued with the Bellas after the match. They kind of pushed around, threw stuff at each other, but no punches were thrown. So, yeah, this is going to be our Divas match at Mania.
It's heartbreaking.
Rob, please say something positive about this match.
I mean, AJ Lee and Paige look great. So does Nikki Bella. I think that those four actually will have a decent match at Mania for all of the 1 minute that doesn't get cut from it to give more time to other matches. But I think that those two can wrestle. I think Nikki's strong style's looking okay. So I don't think that'll be terrible at Mania. But the match itself, I don't know. I don't know why they want to force Summer Rae, Eva Marie, and Cameron down our throats so bad. Oh, wait, yeah, dude, they're on Total Divas. Fuck. Can we get AJ Lee to come back out and rip another promo about how shitty all the Total Divas are?
Yeah, I would love it. Next, oh, by the way, I skipped over this entirely because I just don't care. They did I hate it when WWE does an exclusive interview with Randy Orton. Yeah, because he works for you and you don't let anybody else interview anybody else outside your company. So, yeah, exclusive interview. Yes, I know it's entertainment, but come on. But do you have any thoughts on that? Because to be honest, I skipped over that whole segment.
It was pretty pointless. It didn't really feel like it did anything. It was mostly just him going, yeah, I tricked them all. I'm smart. Look at who I am. I'm the Viper. I'm Randy Orton. I'm the Legend Killer, blah, blah, blah. And then he pointed out that he wants revenge on all the authority, but mostly Seth. I don't know. Like, I am one of the few people who actually likes Randy Orton in the ring that I know. I still don't like Randy Orton on the microphone. God damn it. Someone give him a manager and just let him stare like he likes to do in the corner.
And then it came down to this, the main event. The top of the mountain here. We're talking about six-man tag action. Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, and Dean Ambrose teaming up to take on Bad News Barrett, Luke Harper, and Stardust. For WWE standards, I mean, I think this was a pretty decent tag match. Had some decent back and forth. Daniel Bryan hit the running knee on Luke Harper. Got the 1, 2, 3, and then I looked at the time and I said, you know what? Wait a minute, they've almost got 5 minutes left. What the hell's going on here? There's no way they're wrapping this show up this early. Well, in my opinion, what happened here, the thing that really mattered with this is what happened after the match. Michael Cole goes in there to interview the winners, and of course the bad guys just slink off to the back. They asked about about this big win. And of course Daniel Bryan takes the baby face. Feeling good. This was great. But then they started showing a little bit of jealousy. You had Dean Ambrose just said, you know what, you can say this all you want, but the bottom line is you're a turd, and walks out. And then Ziggler, he stops and says, I normally don't agree with Dean Ambrose, but I agree. You're a turd. And they walked out, and Daniel Bryan's like, what the fuck? So apparently Daniel Bryan's a turd. I'm hoping this is a setup for some jealousy of, you know what, you've been in the mountaintop, you've had your moment, we've been held down since day one. You've gotten your title shot, and you want to go back there again, but we've never got that chance. With Ziggler, my world heavyweight title reign was cut short by concussion, and I never was allowed to go back after it. And Dean Ambrose could be like, you know what, I was on the verge of, beating Mr. Money in the Bank and getting up there, but I've been held down and kept on, these lower matches and these pointless matches. I want to be up there. I don't want to compete. And I guess they can't crap on the Intercontinental title belt in kayfabe world. But are you thinking that's where it's going with this, or do you think it's something completely different? Do you think it's maybe setting up for maybe some kind of special match at Mania outside of the IC title?
I wish it was, but no, it's not. You know what it's doing. They're doing that. This is basically we throw together people we know the fans like that we don't give a shit match. It's like look at the list of people in the match. It's people the fans like that the Smarks all like in a match that WWE doesn't give a shit about. Which if this leads to them making the IC title their title that they cater toward the Smarks, I'm okay with that. If that's what we get out of this, I'll suffer through this because I think R-Truth's hilarious so far. But I don't know. I'm hoping.
I just can't believe they went out there and literally called Daniel Bryan a turd.
I can. It's Vince McMahon. He probably thought it was hilarious. He's like, he's a turd. Poopies.
Yeah, well, one question here, and this is from Fran Yelly, and Fran Yelly, I think he hits it out of the park. He has a good question. He says, I don't see the point of having Reigns come out on SmackDown to address Heyman's promo that happened on Raw when Reigns was at Raw on Monday night as well. The two guys could have confronted him, but instead we got the two individuals who are supposed to main event Mania doing separate things, pretty much avoiding each other for an unexplained reason. You know, BS storytelling at its finest. Well, Fred, I agree with you. I mean, logically, what you're saying makes sense, but I think the whole psychology with that is they're not going to touch each other before Mania, so that way it builds up the anticipation. It makes people want to subscribe to the network or buy a ticket to Mania and go in and watch it. I think that's the whole point behind that.
Not to mention, I mean, you guys got to look at it from the standpoint of what could really get magical here. And I hope all of you are sitting there and you understand that Reigns is just playing the perfect, weaselly, smarmy heel. And he's avoiding Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman called him out on Raw. Did he want to talk to him? No. He avoided him. Because he doesn't have to deal with that shit. But you know what? When he wants to, he'll handle him. One day. When he punches him, and then when he's all wobbly, he spears him for the win.
Someday. Somewhere over the rainbow. Sorry. One more question here from Fran Yelling. We're going to have to wrap this bad boy up here. He says the main event with some sort of tag team action are getting boring more often than not. WWE seems to be going to that type of booking in order to play it safe. Well, it's more of a comment than a question, but yeah, I think. You know, it's SmackDown. It's being treated as the B show. They want to make sure that the crowds leave out happy. Because it's not like Raw where they actually have to do something serious and then they have to do something for like a dark match to keep the crowd happy. There's like, this is taped, so why not just keep the crowd happy to begin with? You don't have the after show shenanigans because it's not live, so that's why they do that.
Yeah, I hate it, but I think it's just lazy booking. I gotta use these people. What do I do? Put them in a big match. Thanks, Teddy. Way to teach him this.
Well, there you go. Well, guys, we're going to have to wrap up this edition here of Wrestle AM. So be sure to like, subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You can always find us at KocoSports.com. That's KocoSports.com. It's your home for all combat sports. And, Rob, tell people where they can find you.
Well, you can find me on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, and Twitter as Siduakal. You can also find my articles up on the website under Rob Sackett. I'm doing daily rumors now. The one for today should go up there soonish. It's already done. It should be up within an hour or two, probably. But I have a few up there, and we've been posting a lot more news on the site, so check it out.
Terrific. So that's KocoSports.com. It's where the world goes to kick ass. It's your home for combat sports, and most importantly, it's where it's okay to be a passionate fan. So this is Boom Boom for the partners here, Rob and Dave KocoSports. I am over.